Welcome, everyone. This is the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. We connect with you every week in order to share stories of people who are doing interesting things around the world to help people nearby, far away. It is part of the goal of Rotary International, with its motto of service above self, to find ways that we can be of service to others and to improve the lives of those all over the globe. Rotary is 1.2 million members and 36,000 clubs. And you've connected with this one, which is the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, an online and asynchronous Rotary club based in the San Francisco Bay Area of California. Now, our speaker this week is Dr. Horst-W. He is in Europe. He is a teacher. He teaches at the Marbella International University Centre in Marbella, Spain, and at the University of Tübingen in Southwest Germany. He is an authority on mindsets dealing with uncertainty. We are excited to have him here. So Horst, I hand it over to you. Welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley.
Thank you, Rushton, for introduction and for making it possible. So yes, okay. You said the most important things about me, Rushton, but I want to say for what I'm expert in dealing with uncertainty and also for phobias, because I work in 3 contexts. The first context is my coaching practice, where I work with single persons with phobias, with burnout, and there are very special issues concerning with the uncertainty. Then as a trainer in companies, especially for leaders, and leaders have some different issues with uncertainty, for example, with decisions, or in the public, in the TV, for VIP persons. And a lot of VIP persons have in uncertainty times a issue of existency. So earning no money, and it's a real issue. So I want to start first with the effects, with the most important effects of uncertainty. As you can see the picture in the middle, on the left side, you can see one very important effect is stress, and not the good stress, it's the ugly stress, it's the distress. Because you have no predictability, you cannot plan your future. For example, I remember in Rotary Costa del Sol, Benahavis, next major city is Marbella, and I will join in October, and I don't know exactly what I have to do because of the restrictions, which testimonials I have to bring. So second great part is the general insecurity and some worries, because people, we have people that have a baseline of anxiety. And in those times of uncertainty, not having a concrete clear, not having a concrete vision, they have fear the whole day, starting at waking up, open your eyes, and finishing as getting to bed. So general insecurity and worries. And the third part is challenging decisions. So maybe an entrepreneur has to plan the next business year, and he has no concrete information. What can he do? So what are the solutions for these 3 issues? First issue, dealing with stress. I want to invite you to a little exercise. The technique is tapping. Tapping means we touch 4 points in our face between the eyebrows, after the nose, and under the upper lip, and here sternum. No? 1, 2, 3, 4 points. For example, you have the situation, you did a COVID test and now you're waiting for the results. It could be stress for some persons because they don't know, oh my God, what will happen if I have a positive result? So to cool down, first you, after identifying the situation, the COVID PCR test, you ask yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, how big is my fear concerning the result? 10 is very high and 1 is very low. The point is not giving the correct answer. The point is more getting in an observer position. So tapping the 4 points helps calming down. And you see, you get an easier overcoming of situations with uncertainty. You get more inner peace, and although you're getting back the control of your life. Second factor is how we can overcome general insecurity and worries. I think with those issues, I work with hypnotherapy. It's a modern form of hypnosis. Hypnotherapy was founded in the US by Milton Erickson in Arizona many years ago. And the point is to get in a relaxation state, for example, closing your eyes, taking 3 deeper breathings, and then you go down into your inner world by deeping breather, and then you can discover by visualization rooms of security. Everybody has a lot of rooms of security, mostly in childhood, and to reactivate these rooms can help to minimize the uncertainty. So in best case, a person makes in the morning his hypnotherapy session, and then he is connected with a good feeling, with an inner voice, or with an inner picture of a state of being relaxed and being totally safe. You need in uncertainty times a power that minimize the anxieties. So you have more inner safety, you have more faith, and you have more, yes, I will call it more ever happy self. Then the third point is how to decide with more intuition. And this is an issue, for example, for leaders who has to organize their company. And a very interesting thing is to communicate with your unconscious mind. We have a conscious mind. If I talk to you, you can hear me, you can see me, you have make some visualizations, some ideas. This is the conscious mind. But down we have the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind is not our enemy, it's our partner, and we can communicate in a special way with this unconscious mind by a special yes or a no signal. So the first point is, after getting into the relaxation, you have to find your individual yes signal and your individual no signal. Mostly the yes signal is a good feeling in the area of your heart, and the no signal is, for example, getting cold feet or getting cold hands. So you have yes and no signals. You have a more decision, not in your brain because you have no information, but more out of your belly. This is one form to get easier decisions. If you have the situation, if you have your data in the present and you don't know, so you can ask your unconscious mind. If you have the special situation for doing a decision for the next year and you don't know what the next year will bring, then you can use also the matrix. The matrix is it sounds a little bit silly because it's in our upper consciousness. And upper consciousness is some sort of energy. Not everybody can do it. I'm a pupil. I'm going to learn it. But there are people, maybe in Germany, I know 1, 2, or 3 persons. They have the ability to go with their mind into the future to recognize trends. They cannot see the future concrete, but they can feel trends, and this could be in business a very helpful thing. So finding your semantic markers as yes and no signals and recognizing your matrix, some sort of energy matrix. So you get more security in your decisions, you get more confidence, and you get more self-awareness. Okay, So, summary, there are 3 ways for getting more certainty in uncertainty times. So the first time is here tapping. Second time is working with hypnosis, with hypnotherapy, getting in a state of faith and trust to overcome easier the day. And the third thing is, this is here from NLP. You can see concerning the challenge, making decisions without certain information with NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And I'm teach trainer in NLP, and I learned NLP in California for Robert Dills. So this is the third way to minimize the uncertainty. Do you have questions or comments or something like that?
Absolutely. We can certainly start into the Q&A. First of all, Horst, thank you very much for the presentation. It is always good for us to encounter new ideas. I want to introduce our club member who has joined us for this recording from Houston, Texas, Judge Rory Olson. Rory, always good to see you, sir. Even if our favorite cat, Jasmine, Texas cat Jasmine, is not in view, but hopefully that will be corrected in the near future. So, my name is Rushton Hurley. I am the charter president of the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley and in charge this year of programs, and always, and I will encourage our members, we're always interested in finding great stories, so feel free to share what you come across with us. Horst, I'll start the questions. So when we think about the idea of dealing with uncertainty, you very quickly identified stress as a factor that as a mindset gets in the way of making good decisions. And so all of the techniques you describe, whether it's tapping or hypnosis or
NLP.
or using intuition as a part of how you, all of them seem to me to be ways of getting people to think about something other than the anxiety that they are experiencing in order to make better decisions. Is that a fair way of characterizing the umbrella that would cover all of your techniques?
Yes, it's a great question. And you met the point, Rushton. The point is the focus of our intention is it's the biggest part for our inner living. And all 3 ways refocus from the uncertainty to other things, to a better inner living with a tapping for a inner space of confidence and trust in hypnotherapy. And also in NLP, we try to imagine a future and then we ask yes or no. So that's the point. Thank you for this summary.
Okay. About neuro-linguistic programming specifically, to tie neurological ideas and linguistic ideas is something that would be intriguing for any language teacher, and I am a former language teacher. So could you talk a little bit about the linguistic part of neuro-linguistic programming? What is it about language that allows someone to address issues of stress or of uncertainty in ways that might be productive?
Yes, it's a very interesting question. I never was asked before in the last 25 years. So thank you, but it's a very clever question. So a little bit language, it's based on the teachings of Noam Chomsky. Chomsky was a linguist, and Chomsky made the decision between the surface structure and the deeper structure of communication. In daily life, we communicate on the surface structure. I say, okay, let's start. In the deeper structure, I had to say, let's start with the presentation on 1 p.m. So surface structure and deeper structure. And that's why a lot of misunderstandings, because we talk very often on the surface structure. And NLP tries to bring the deeper structure into the focus of the intention and into our living. And in the best case, the deeper structure of a good living, of feeling safe, of feeling certain, of feeling faithful, especially in those Corona times. So working with NLP, my job is to ask persons for resources, for competencies, for better times, and then to focus on this. And so they can switch from the uncertainty much more into the faith and into the confidence. Yes.
All right. That actually brings up for me what might be a rather lengthy question, and I apologize for that, but I will get there, I promise. So the language that I studied most and became a high school teacher of is Japanese. And so when you compare American English and Japanese, one of the first things that you encounter is that in Japanese, it is common for people not to say things that they think the other person should understand. So by giving kind of half a sentence and the other person responds knowing what the rest of the sentence would be, is a way of affirming the relationship between the two people, that they have a kind of communication that allows for that. It's a very intriguing piece for me of the nature of Japanese. In American English, we are much more likely to say, "What do you mean?" Right? And to ask perhaps fairly aggressive questions, but with the intention of getting to know what it is that we're trying to deal with.
Yes.
Now, the reason I say all that is because I am interested in how you think about stress related to a lack of understanding of communication. So there's a lot of stress that comes from, I can't believe what this person said. And essentially they have decided what the person meant before they ask a question such as, did you mean this when you said that? You know, and the person might say, well, no. Okay, well, the stress is gone because that's not what it was. So that's a very long kind of setup, and I apologize. But when you think about your work to help people cope with stress, especially in stressful times, such as now, and your connection to the dual environments of German and English, do you find that there are differences in how you think about those things?
Yes. Yes, I think in Germany we have to focus more on the problems, and in the US or in England, in the US especially in California, the focus is more on the solutions. So NLP is some sort of solution talk. And if I do a coaching in the California, the people want to hear questions like, okay, what's the goal? And what do you need for reaching the goal? In Germany, we would ask, why? And now what is the next reason, and what the deeper reason? And it's more focused on problems. It's a problem talk. German psychotherapy is a problem talk. Psychoanalysis, it's a problem talk. We talk about our hurtings in our childhood. We talked about bad times in the hope that we can transform it by focusing. In NLP or in hypnotherapy, we have another issue. We have another focus. We focus on the solutions, on the way to the solutions. We focus about the competencies that help us to get into the goal. I think this is the most important difference between German communication and American communication. I like the American way more. so I'm dealing with NLP and not with behavioral therapy, which is very, very problem focused.
Very interesting. Great. Matter of fact, that reminds for me the kinds of things that one learns when one studies design thinking principles, right?
Oh yeah.
So you can imagine a Rotary Club. They hear about a problem somewhere and they think, we can help. That problem could be fixed with this solution.
Yes.
Which may be correct, maybe. But if they put a lot of energy into addressing the problem, right, with their solution, and later discover that solution was to a problem that was not the correct problem, then a lot of time and energy has been lost.
Yes.
So would you say that also is a part of how you talk to the people that you consult with about correctly defining problems in order to deal with stresses associated with those problems?
Yes, the common finding the common sense finding the common meaning is the background, the base ground. And I like this in design thinking. You take a lot of hours sometimes for getting a common issue. And in the one-to-one situation, if the client speaks about uncertainty, and it might be uncertainty because of his next travel, but he thinks about the uncertainty about the next vaccination. So I have to clear up with question the common sense, the common understanding. And this is a very, very important point in coaching or in psychotherapy to understand. So I'm, as a coach or I'm as a psychotherapist, I'm more a person that asks and not advise. I ask on a scale from 1 to 10, from 1 to 10, what is your scaling today and yesterday? So I try to understand what is the background to find a common understanding on this base ground. Then we can do the next steps for the solution. It's a very interesting connection with the design thinking. Yes.
All right. Well,
Yes.
it's interesting to see how different thinking about communication, whether it
Yes.
is culturally based or whether it is systemically based, can
Yes.
help us deal with stresses related to communication as we go.
Yes, yes. It's an interesting thing. I have a colleague, I teach him in NLP and he's expert in design thinking. And we will do maybe next year in Marbella a common presentation about NLP and design thinking, bringing two fields together because it's perfect. It's very perfect. But design thinking they are normally not interested in NLP, and NLP is not interested in design thinking because it's some sort of competition. Who is better? It's marketing. So I'm the person who integrate the different fields, and so you met the point, and you met my heart in this notice of design thinking and NLP. Thank you.
I can imagine that deciding to come to some level of cooperation rather than conflict is easier on the Mediterranean coast of Spain than it might be in some places in the world. I have been to Marbella, and it is gorgeous. So
yes.
nice to choose your setting in the right way.
Yes, I love it. Yes, it's great, really great.
Excellent. I will wind things down before handing it back to you for the final word. But what I'd like to say to all of those who might be watching this presentation as a part of our weekly meeting, we are glad you have joined us. If you are interested in learning more about Dr. Reckert's work, note that there is a link or two below this embedded video on our meeting page that would have those links, and you can always follow up. You're also welcome to add comments in our discuss section, which is the forum that we have for sharing ideas related to all that we include in the meetings, as well as the specifics with regard to our programs. Sometimes our speakers have time to jump in and even share their answers to questions that people toss in. And so Horst, once we have this as our program in our weekly meeting, I will certainly let you know so that you can give that a look.
Yes, pleasure.
Finally,
pleasure.
Yeah, to our viewers, please let us know you were here. Just a little farther down the page, you'll find the attendance section where you can say, I was here, this is my name, this is my email address. We're not going to spam you or anything like that. But if you are a visiting Rotarian and you are looking to make up a miss from your own club, then by correctly putting in your email address, you will get a message that you can pass along to your club secretary so that you can keep up your attendance. We like to believe that we have made it very easy for Rotarians around the world to keep 100% attendance, which means getting weekly energy related to being inspired for what we can do to help others. Service above self. As we always like to finish, we hand it back to our speaker for a final word. So Horst, I hand it back to you. What is your final word for our audience?
My final word is slight. And I want to close with a saying of Epictet. This was a Greek philosopher. He said, it's not the events that worry us, but rather the attitude we have towards those events. So glad. Thank you for the opportunity. It's perfect fitting to my motto, serving above. This is my motto, my personal motto, and also the motto of Rotary. And I'm happy to be in the club in Bene Havis del Sol, because we live a little bit this motto, and we are people of actions, and we try to serve and not only to talk. We try to help to solutions, and this is the point. We started to minimize stress, to find solutions, and thank you for joining, and thank you, Rushton and Rory, for your attendance.
Wonderful. And for everyone, thank you, and we will see you next week.